Hi, everybody. Welcome to Roots to Renovation. I'm your host, Mike Downer, and I am joined today by Jody Peterson and Ryan
Right.
Peterson. Jody is the founder and CEO of Peterson Roofing, and his ever so handsome son, Ryan, is the COO. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Doing wonderful. Thank you.
Doing great. Thanks, Mike.
Perfect. So today's going to be an interesting topic. I know that a lot of homeowners have a lot of questions when it comes to this because nobody likes to pay for their own roof at all. So you got to make sure you do things right with the insurance company. Am I on base or off base with that statement?
Yeah.
Yes. Right on
Perfect.
base.
I
Good
don't like to
deal.
pay for anything myself. I mean, if I'm being honest, if somebody else wants to pay for it, sure. But I mean, I guess you got to realize you are paying. If your insurance company's paying to put it on, bro, you've been paying your
Yeah,
insurance
you're
company.
paying.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're gonna just walk people through step by step how the insurance process actually works. So today, what we're going to be covering is what the step by step process for filling a roof damage insurance claim and what homeowners should expect from their insurance company. So, what should homeowners do first after discovering roof damage to support their insurance claim? Jody, go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, good question. So here in Davenport, Iowa, in the Quad Cities area, we've been helping homeowners for many years navigate the insurance process and going about filing a claim. Um, so I would say number one, the first thing they need to do is make sure there was a storm. Like I was just telling Ryan a little bit earlier, I had a customer call just from last night, said she heard hail, so she called us, and our job will be number one, and this is what I would tell every homeowner: if you think there's insurance uh, or damage, if you think there's damage before you call your insurance company, call us. We'll come over. We'll do an inspection beforehand. If there is damage, we'll note that damage. We'll take pictures, document the damage. If there isn't any, we'll tell you, no, there's no damage. Don't worry about it. And then after calling us, second thing you'll want to do is then you'll file a claim if there is damage. You call your insurance company, contact them however you want to contact them, and know the date. That's important too. Know the date of the storm, and then after that, they'll set up a time with you. They should set up a time for their adjuster to come out or one of their third party adjusters to come out and look at it. Or some companies still just say, get an estimate and contact us with that estimate when you're
Great.
done. And then you just go from there.
So that was a great answer. Kind of walk people step by step. So when it does come time to contact an insurance company, how should homeowners contact their insurance company after roof damage, and what should they expect during the process?
Well, I think you kind of touched on that. So, like you said, Dad, you want to first find out. If you have some damage, we'll tell you that, and then you're gonna want to call your insurance company, and you'll have a phone number or whatever, and just give
Or
them some
online,
basic
they have claims
online, your
now.
claims
They
email or portal or whatever they have, and then they'll set you up with somebody that's going to come look at it. And a lot of times we talk to those people, the adjusters, and they'll have maybe a desk adjuster or somebody that comes out and looks at the roof. And like my dad Jody was saying, maybe it's somebody that actually works for the insurance company, or maybe it's a third party. And a lot of times we're just in communication with them. Maybe we'll meet them on the roof or to look at the siding and talk about the damage. I was just looking at one, and it was very obvious. This year was large hail. I think it was close to 3-inch hail.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I talked to the adjuster beforehand, and this job maybe about an hour away from here. And he had seen the pictures that I'd taken when I was there, and I said, "Listen, do you want me there walking around on the roof with you when you do this? I mean, it's pretty obvious damage." And he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. Like, I will just call you when I'm done." And so yeah, it's just kind of working, together with them, communicating, I guess you would say.
Here's an
No.
important thing I thought about too while you were talking, Ryan, is when you call your insurance company, and we would get this a few times. Some people would say, well, the insurance company told me not to file a claim because my rates will go up. And I won't name the insurance company, but there were a couple different ones that did that. But that is not right, and that shouldn't happen. That's why you pay your premiums. If you have damage, you need to report that claim. And if your rates are going up, everybody's is going up in that area. They should not pinpoint you out and say, hey, if you file a claim, we're raising your rates.
Right.
Right.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, that's the old scare tactic from the 1970s insurance. When you get in a car accident that's your fault, then your rates go
Yeah,
up because it's your fault. But when it comes to homeowners insurance, that's a completely different thing because this is an act of God. You had no control over
right.
it. So I love the fact that you brought that up. Um, so this one's kind of a big one, and this one's an important one to cover. Um, because a lot of times I know that if homeowners do it wrong, this can really end up costing them in the long run. So either one of you guys can take this question. So can you explain to all our listeners and viewers why it's important to get a professional roof inspection before the insurance adjuster arrives? Because this is
Right.
huge.
Yes, and then I'll start with this, Ryan.
Yeah.
I would say here's what's going to happen if it's a big storm. Uh, Someone will probably be knocking on your door within hours of the storm, and with no credibility, you didn't contact them. They contacted you. They could have just be Joe Blow off the street, and they are interested in selling a roof job, but they know nothing about roofing or what damages or anything. They're trained to just sell. So you have to watch out for those people. You are far better off to call a contractor of your choice, have them come out and inspect the roof beforehand, let you know what's going on, and then proceed on whether or not to file an insurance claim.
Right.
Local contractor so that you don't get caught
Correct.
up on one of the fly by nights in and out companies.
Local. Yeah. I've heard stories too of somebody showed up on the doorstep, went through all the steps and signed up, and then the work doesn't get done for months and months. And homeowners like, well, what do I do now? I signed all these contracts and all of this. So yeah, sometimes those things can end up, in a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, I understand that. So once they call you and they've determined, yep, this is something that, you guys talk together and decide that this is something that the insurance company does need to know about, and they contact their insurance company, and then at that point, how does the insurance adjuster inspection process work for roof damage claims?
Well, I think I talked about it a little bit there earlier. They will send somebody out to look at it, more than
Yes.
likely. And I've had jobs before where I'm on the roof ready and I see the what I think is the adjuster pulling up, and this gentleman got a drone out of the trunk of his car. I'm like, oh, what's this? And he was a third party just inspection guy. So
Right.
his whole job was just to get pictures of the roof and then send it to the actual adjuster that knows, insurance policy and this is what we pay for and all of that. But he said, yeah, you don't even need to be up there. Go ahead and hop on down the ladder. I'm going to get all the pictures and send it in. And then I was in contact with the adjuster later on. So yeah, it's
So that's important what you're saying, being in contact with the adjuster, and that's perfectly legitimate because a lot of homeowners are afraid that they don't know how to handle that process when the adjuster comes over and starts looking at things, and they're worried they might miss something. So if at all possible, we can meet the adjuster there and just go over things, and make sure they don't miss anything. Nothing wrong
Right.
with that. There are new laws that you cannot represent the homeowner as a public adjuster or anything like that, but we can go back and forth with the adjuster and make sure they don't miss anything. Look over the scope of the work, um, what's gonna involve in correcting and making it right. And every adjuster that's out there wants that kind of feedback. That's their responsibility to the homeowner to get that feedback from the contractor, so they don't miss anything and they don't have a problem with that at all. But yeah, so that would be one of the steps. The homeowner will possibly get a text saying, a link text or a link in the email saying this is when your adjuster is coming out, and they can forward that to us, and we're able to meet them there as well.
So I wanted to touch on something you and I had talked about earlier. So let's say the adjuster comes out and you're getting pretty deep into your claim, and say that I have, like me personally, I have $1,000 deductible. What if I ask you, can you help me out with that? Jody?
Well, I can tell you, I've got right
I'm
here. It's
sure somebody's
these
asked you that
papers.
before.
You cannot do that. It's against Iowa law. I believe this law was passed in I don't know, 2020 somewhere. It's been a couple. No, it wasn't that long ago. I think it was 2024. I'm going to read it to you. Pursuant to the Iowa law, your contract with insert name of whoever you contracted with to provide goods and services to repair damage resulting from a naturally occurring catastrophe, including but not limited to a fire, earthquake, tornado, windstorm, flood, or hailstorm, is void if you hold on a second. And you have no responsibility for payment under the contract if that said contractor either advertises or promises to rebate all or any portion of your insurance deductible, or represents or negotiates or offers to represent or negotiate on your behalf with your property and casualty insurance company on any insurance claim relating to the damage you have contracted to have repaired. So there are some specific guidelines when it comes to working with your contractor. He cannot say, "Hey, give me the job. I'll cut the deductible off." That's illegal according to Iowa law. Now, some of them do it, and there's nuances to this, and I don't know what they are, and I don't care because I don't want to. End up in jail, and I don't want my customer to end up in jail for breaking Iowa law.
Yeah,
absolutely. I just kind of wanted to, you and I had talked about that a little bit earlier, the three of us, before we hit the record button, and I just knew that was something that we wanted to touch on. So,
yeah.
So guys, what is the supplement process in a roofing insurance claim?
Ooh, okay. I'll take this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So supplementing is when you get into a job. Well, I guess you could supplement even beforehand, but usually it's afterwards. And in our case, more often than not, on a roof, it's maybe you found something that you didn't know was there. So maybe it was something with the wood or some other thing with flashing, and it's not always just a hail damage claim. We had a tree branch. That was more than a branch. A tree limb fall on a house on the garage part, and some of those things in replacing trusses and insulation and things like that, you just don't know until you get into the restoration work, and then later on you're like, I had to replace these things too. And so that is a supplemental addition to the claim, the insurance claim. And that's something that we were just talking about. We have a pretty good relationship with the adjusters on these jobs, and you can just talk to them and get it added to the claim, and everything's taken care of.
Yeah. And they need to be legitimate. Some of these other companies, they'll make up things and send them in, and there's nobody policing them. And this is why the laws have changed in Iowa and other states, not just Iowa, is because they were going way beyond what they legally could do as far as supplementing insurance companies.
That's kind of why I asked you that question prior, is because that's kind of one of those shifty, illegal, let's just use the word illegal ways of covering the deductible and all that other
exactly
shady, underhanded stuff that, there are people out there, and that's what they do. And let's just stick with local reputable companies like Peterson Roofing in the Quad City area to avoid all that. So the next question I have for you, we'll get off the bad stuff. But this is something that a lot of people need to understand. And I know that this one is a big one with you guys, because this can be a point of contention with homeowners if they don't understand it. What is the difference between depreciation and replacement cost in a homeowner's insurance policy? And this one is huge.
Right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. This is a thing, like a lot of homeowners, you never see this stuff. We see it all the time, so we understand it. But it's interesting how somebody will say, I don't understand what this claim's saying at all. So what you just said, Mike, you got your basic things. You got your full replacement coverage. Insurance company is going to pay for everything to fix your roof back up to normal. You're going to pay your deductible. And then you also have ACV, or actual cost value. Okay. So if your roof is a bit older, I'm starting to see this a lot now, where customers are calling and saying, my roof is 15 years old and my insurance company's dropping me down to an ACV policy. So what that means is, if you have some hail damage, they're not going to pay the whole amount. Do you want to interject something?
Oh, I'm just saying, that's me. They did that to me.
They did it to you. Okay.
Yes. Me too.
Yep. So the other important thing that you talked about, depreciation. So a lot of times people don't understand looking at that insurance sheet like, oh, I'm going to have to pay for all of this. No. You're not going to have to pay for, you're going to pay your deductible. So when the job is complete, because usually you'll get it one check in the beginning when they come do the estimate, you're going to get a check. But then once the work's done, we come in, we replace the roof, we replace the siding, we replace the gutters. They're going to send you another check when we send out the invoice for all the completed work. So no, you're not on the hook. You look at all these dollar amounts on the right side of the sheet and you're like, I got to pay all that? No.
Perfect. Anything to add to that, Jody?
Oh, just the depreciation comes when the job is completed and the bill is sent in. They send that final check out to you, and everything should be covered. And the only thing, like Ryan said, the responsibility of the homeowner is just the deductible.
Perfect. So now we're talking about insurance, and Ryan doesn't. We found out earlier in the episode that Ryan doesn't like to pay for anything.
Do you?
We're talking about you here, Ryan. But what are some of the common reasons that roofing insurance claims get denied, and how can homeowners appeal them?
Yeah, I'll start again because there are a lot of times they're denied. And I think like we've been talking about these laws, how they're different. And that's because a lot of contractors were acting like the adjuster. So we can't like talk insurance with the insurance company. A public adjuster can do that for you. And there are lots of public adjusters out there, and we can point you in the right direction. You can talk to different ones. And there's another thing that they can do where we just shoot this over to what they call appraisal. Maybe that's a topic for a different podcast. All that to say, there have been customers who are like, what do I do? I'm at a dead end here. My insurance company isn't covering what really should be covered. I looked at one just a couple of years ago, totally beat up roof. All the houses in the neighborhood got replaced by insurance. And finally, years later, this homeowner is through a public adjuster and then appraisal is finally about to get this taken care of. A huge claim. So there are a lot of different reasons for denial. Sometimes I can't tell you why, because to me, it looks pretty clear cut. You have huge roof damage here, and here's some basic information that backs it all up. But where we stop, like our limitations as a contractor, that's where a public adjuster can pick up that mantle for you and keep going and fix all those problems on why an insurance company will deny things. And like I said, some are worse than others. I don't know why, but it's something that we can help you with. You have something to add to?
You can see where sometimes insurance companies will deny a claim just because they want to deny a claim. They don't have a real good reason. And so it's important to check your policy over, ask them, hey, why is my claim denied? And they have to give you something. And usually it's in your policy, the reason that would be denied. There's 3 or 4 exemptions. And you can see why a lot of these storm chasing roofing companies are basically in a battle with insurance companies a lot of times, because insurance companies will act in bad faith. It isn't just roofers that are, doing things underhanded. Sometimes insurance companies do too. So it's important. You check your policy, you appeal. There's an appeals process. A lot of companies require that within like 60 to 180 days of the denial. And I'm not a lawyer, but there's a lot of legal processes, as Ryan mentioned, that you can go forward with. But if it's obvious and you have damage, it's definitely important to pursue that.
Perfect. So let's wind this up. So everybody's gone through, they've taken all the right steps. They've, contacted you first, then the adjuster comes out and everything goes according to plan. Let's just say that I'm still one of those guys, and one of my friends, and I'm not going to name names, I'll protect the innocent. He likes everybody to do everything for him. Very good friend of mine. So let's say that I'm one of those guys. So how does Peterson Roofing help homeowners navigate the insurance claim process from start to finish? And Jody, I'll probably let you take this one because it's been the Ryan show today.
Well, number one, we cannot file the claim for you. We can't do
Perfect.
that. They have to contact their insurance company And once that claim is filed, we can help you with the scope of the work that needs to be done, as far as looking everything over, making sure that nothing gets missed. And really, that's the most important thing, because there's
Right.
a lot of roofing companies, they don't want to do anything except collect the check when they're done. We're going to make sure that everything is done according to what needs to be done, the damage that was incurred from the storm, and make sure you're happy. If you're not happy, if something that the insurance company misses, we can get involved with that and point it out to the adjuster and say, hey, you missed this. This needs to be fixed as well. It's due to the storm damage. And honestly, after filing the claim, not a whole lot the homeowner really has to do. We can handle everything from start to finish when it comes to getting things lined up and ready to go once the settlement costs have been all worked out. We call you, say, hey, we're ready to come over and complete the repairs. And then after that, we inspect the job when we're done, then we send a bill out. So a homeowner files a claim and the homeowner writes the check when they're done. And that's about it. And then that's kind of a good point. I know we're finishing up here, but there's a lot of companies that will do what's called assignment of benefits, which the state of Iowa, with the new law, has recommended do not do that. You're just better off getting a contractor. And the very least a contractor should do is, when the assignment of the benefits or the money when the job is done, could be a co-payment. You can never sign over the whole entire job, money and everything, and the scope of the work to the contractor, because this is what happens when Ryan talked about in the beginning. Job could go on for 2 years and never get completed. They don't even know that there's a job in the hopper. They've forgotten about it, because they're the ones that are running the whole thing. They've been signed the whole entire claim, benefits and everything, and they just forget about it. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen. So you're better kind of being a little bit in control of that. Do not sign over your benefits to one of these storm chasing companies. That's the one thing the homeowner does have to keep a handle on there.
Yep. Perfect. Well, guys, thanks for walking us through all the ways that how to do an insurance claim the right way, what to avoid, what the laws are. And as always, you guys are always a lot of fun. I always enjoy my time with you guys. So I'd like to thank everybody on joining us on Roots to Renovation with Jody and Ryan Peterson, owner of Peterson Roofing in the greater Quad City areas. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you.